Amarachi Okorom is an actor, writer, and spoken word poet who calls Wyndham home. She's appeared in The Watching and Caliban for Western Edge Youth Theatre and performs her poetry wherever words are found. Here to perform a powerful poem that communicates her connection to Wyndham, truth, and hope, Amarachi joins us today by Ghost Low.
So before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the Wathaurong, Warrawong, and the Boonwurrung people of the Kulin Nations. I pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging, and I also pay my respects to any First Nations people watching today. And sovereignty was never ceded, and a treaty was never signed. So this always was and always will be Aboriginal land. The birthday wishes echo through my four walls, bouncing from wall to wall. It bounces onto me and I'm reminded of the day, a reminder of life, a reminder that air passes through my lungs a year longer. 23, my Jordan year, the year my dreams learned to walk out of my mind and on ground, the year what ifs are no longer questions of doubt. There's a warmth that follows me as my feet move through the path beneath it, as I move through the motions of the wind against my body, and the sun comes up in the horizon, gracing my eyes with its beauty. The sun wraps her arms around my body, the warmth of community against my skin. I'm home. Crack, the path separates beneath my feet, and I'm running. Running until my legs can't run no more. Crack, the walls I've built around me falls under the cracks, and I'm drowning in the aisles as the water of bodies rises. Crack, finding essentials has become an adventure, like X marks the spot, X to create a shield. Crack, human connection. Crack, 1.5 meters apart. Crack, crack, crack. The earth swallows me whole, along with the support I once had. Sense of stability shatters, scrambling to hold on to the pieces, caught in the cycle, spiraling down, eyes shut, waiting for the quiet, waiting for the fall. But I shoot right back up, open my eyes, quick breaths leave my mouth, sweat drenches my body. April Fools, is this all a joke? But I'm sat on my bed, the punchline to my own joke. Except no one is laughing, and I watch the numbers collide with days and fade into the distance. Darkness mixes with light, unsure of the time, and now it's cold. And I miss the sun. Its warmth, drying up the rain that spills down my eyes when I'm filled with gray clouds. I miss the ground beneath my feet holding up my expectations, the accidental bumps at the shops and the random conversations along the way. 23, my Jordan year, the year my dreams learned to crawl out of my mind and hold me tight. A reminder that they are always here, that hopes and dreams won't leave without you. So let's reach out from a safe distance and feel the warmth of our community. Thank you. Thanks for listening, and if you have any questions or anything you'd like to say, you can just comment down below. And yeah, thanks so much for tuning in.
This is Amarachi, while we're looking at questions and things there, can you tell a little bit about where this work came from, where this poem came from, and what the feelings and thoughts were that helped you write what you've put together today?
I wrote this piece as kind of a response to what's going on in our world today, and just how, when it started, because this year I turned 23 and I had big hopes and dreams for like this year, and I was like, this is the year I'm gonna make everything happen, make my dreams come true. And then we were kind of caught in this pandemic that no one really ever expected, and I felt like everything that I had planned for the year just came crashing down, and I felt super lost at the start of this, because I was like, if I don't have any plans, then what else, what am I doing this year? And I felt super disappointed that nothing I had planned was going to happen. But then I think as the days kept going, and like it became weeks and months, I started realizing that like I think like for me, I felt super disconnected from my creativity. But then once I actually started to just sit in it and just like reflect, I realized that plans don't act like my goals and dreams don't actually have to happen this year. And maybe this year for me is just a year that I should just like reflect and like kind of like change it around. And also like I'm super, like it's just made me super grateful for everything that I had. And like yesterday I was talking to my sisters, and I was like what I would do to just go to the shops and like someone to just bump into me and we just laugh about it. And yeah, so it's made me super grateful for the little things. So I wrote this piece as just a reminder that yeah, like things aren't going as planned, but at the end of it we still have a community around us that, like when I said that we should reach out and like feel the presence of our warmth, it's like we should all just have each other's backs and just have each other and like just like fill each other with our presence, even though we can't be like physically together. And yeah, that's why I wrote this piece.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
What are some of the ways that you're coming together and providing that warmth and presence for other artists or people in your networks that you might be physically distant from at the moment, but how are you maintaining those connections at the minute?
Well, so I work with a company called Western Edge Youth Arts, and so I'm part of a leading ensemble, and we're meant to perform this June at the Bowery Theatre in St. Albans, but that's obviously been changed. So we're still connecting with each other on Zoom, and still, like we're finding that we can still be creative from our homes, and we're kind of coming up with different concepts and like playing with like the different elements within our house, and like not focusing too much on the really professional things like the professional lights and like all that. We're kind of just playing around with things we have at home, and also just always checking in as well, because we do understand that not everyone is going to like be super positive, but we're always making sure that we're checking in and we're carrying each other along no matter where, like what part of this journey we're all at. So yeah, Zoom has been a really big thing for us, and we're always connecting every single week. So it feels like we're still together, even though we're not physically together. Yeah.
That's really lovely. I think we've got a couple of questions there on the comments.
Oh yeah, let me have a look. Cool. So Dane asked, I would love to know more about your journey as an artist. How did you get into poetry and spoken word? Cool. So when I was in high school back in New Zealand, I joined drama as my elective, and I just did it as just because I wanted like easy marks. And then I think from that day on, I was like, oh my god, drama is something performing is something I really want to do for the rest of my life. Like this is so fun. And it was the first time I really felt like I actually had a passion and I had something I was good at. So after joining in high school and moving here, I've always been super creative, and like I always love creating things, and my mind is always moving like super fast with like ideas and inspiration of things to write. So yeah, ever since high school, I've always wanted to be an actor on Disney Channel, which is like really funny. But yeah, but now I just want to be able to create. So in 2017, I did a spoken word performance at my church, but I didn't write it at the time. I didn't even know what spoken word was. So I performed it, and then I was like, this is actually really cool. Like I love how you can just put words and like only one person has to say it, and it's just super cool. And like I love the word plays and stuff, and I just love exploring the words. And I thought that was a really cool thing to play with. So after that, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna like try write my own poetry. And my friend gave me a chance to do that the next year at her event. So I wrote a poem, and I called it Little Black Girl. And ever since then, I was just like, yeah, this is super fun. So I've been like writing new poems like every month, I think. And I have so many poems now. And then people started noticing that I write poems, and then they start like inviting me to read my poems out, which is like super crazy to me because a few years before I didn't know what spoken word was. And yeah, but with my acting side, I've always been into acting, and joining Western Edge made me like really come out of my shell and really like discover who I was as an actor, and also made me discover that I do also want to be a writer as well for like stage. So it all came kind of full circle after that whole spoken word piece I had to do. Ever since then, like I feel like my life has just been like going up, and I've never looked back pretty much. And now I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Yeah. Oh, thanks for your comments, guys. I really appreciate it.
There's a quick question from Jen Eve. When did you start with Western Edge?
Oh yeah, so I started with Western Edge in I started with Western Edge in 2017, that's right. Yeah, I think I was like 19 or something. And so I started with them, and they have a project in Wyndham called Wyndham Edge. So I started with that, and then we got to devise our own piece and perform it at the end of the year. Yeah, so ever since then I've been performing with them, but at the same time I've also been working with them as a support artist on other projects as well.
How has Wyndham shaped the work that you're making? So living here in this city, what impact has that had on you as a person and your creative kind of efforts out into the world?
Yeah, so I moved to Wyndham from New Zealand almost 7 years ago, and so I've been living in Wyndham ever since I got to Australia. And so when I first got here, I felt super disconnected because I built a life in New Zealand, and I felt super disconnected. But I think once I started actually like stepping out and like meeting people and like joining different groups, it kind of helped me. Like I would say that like being within communities within Wyndham has kind of helped shape like or reshape who I am and who I was, and it's made me feel like I can pretty much do anything. Cause yeah, so I work at the library as well, so I always meet new people every single day, every second I'm meeting new people, and it's just nice also feeling like you can connect with people it's nice feeling like you can connect with the people you live with. And I feel like once I realized that, it kind of brought me out of my shell, and I felt like I could actually step out and join a group or like join other things. And there's so many things happening in Wyndham, and I feel like it's super, like Wyndham is super community based, like super community driven. And I feel because of that, it's helped me put myself out there, and it's helped me connect with people I probably wouldn't have connected with if I just stayed at home and like just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna chill at home and just like go to uni, go to work, and come back home. But actually stepping out has really inspired the work that I do, and like inspired who I am. And like I'm very passionate about community, and I'm very passionate about being proud of where you are and like where you came from. And yeah, like Wyndham has really been a big part of like shaping the person I am now from the person I used to be. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today, Amarachi. If you had one message that you wanted to put out there to all the other artists and people who might be watching along at home or watching this from the comfort of their lounge rooms over the next couple of weeks, what would you want to say to them?
I would like to say that like what we're going through right now is it's very unpredicted. Like no one could have predicted it, and it is super demoralizing, and it might make us feel like, you know, we can't do anything. And I just want to say that it is okay to feel like you don't want to actually go out and like be creative, or go out and like do the things you normally would do, because to be honest, we are going through a global pandemic, and no one has to feel like they have to still keep life the same. And I think for me personally, like knowing that I'm allowed to feel what I'm feeling has made me start to come out of what I was feeling when this all started. So I think my biggest message is just let yourself feel, and just let yourself be, and let yourself just sit down and just like take it all in, and don't feel like you have to like rush into anything, because it is understandable. And also another message is to reach out to other people as well. And like I think like it's not a good thing, but I think the beauty of this is that we are all going through it, and if you reach out to other people can tell you what they are doing to like get through like their mental state and whatever. And I think if we know that we have people around us that can like support us, and if we know that we are allowed to just like sit and just be, like that's the biggest message I have. Just let yourself be, and don't feel like you have to be pressured to be anything else at this moment.
That's really powerful and really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
If people want to find out more about your work, or read some more about what you do and this wonderful piece that you've written today, where can they find that information?
So I have an Instagram page where I put most of my poetry. It's called Amarachi Speaks. And you can also go on the Wyndham Together page to like see anything that's happening within Wyndham. And I'm also working with Western Edge Youth Arts. So if you just look up Western Edge Youth Arts on Facebook or Instagram, you see them come up, and you see what I'm working on and like what is coming up that I'm on. So yeah, so those are the places you can find me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Amarachi.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for being a part of our very first episode of Ghostlight.
Thank you.